Welcome everybody. So we're going to be covering Dunsparce, and this is going to be a doozy of a video. So I'm going to quickly do a little bit of an intro type deal, and I will have a timestamp in the description for those of you who are not new here. For those of you who are already familiar with my work, you can skip ahead to that timestamp. But I'm going to quickly address some stuff purely because I have a feeling that people are going to click on the video with Dunsparce in it, just based off of the principle of it. So if you are new here, also it kind of sucks that I have to do an intro thing because I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is the Dunsparce. But yeah, if you're new here, this is a ROM hack called Pokemon Sweltering Sun, and I have rebalanced and reworked basically every move. I've made like 20 plus new abilities. I've rebalanced and reworked every single Pokemon, and I have in-depth videos going over every single change. It's super awesome. So if this kind of thing is appealing to you, then you can sit back and take a listen. You can also feel free to check out the Google Sheets yourself, and you can see all the changes. They're laid out very nicely for your convenience. I have everything organized. I have all the moves organized, and all of those are changed and stuff, and you have all these abilities and you have what they do, and it's all very convenient. So you can go explore that sheet if you are into this kind of thing. And with that being said, and also last thing of the intro is that I want to say that the goal of this hack is to, well, there's several goals, but one of the main goals is to make every Pokemon three things: viable, unique from one another, and fun to use. All right, those are the three goals. So they have to be viable, meaning they have to be good. They have to be unique, meaning they can't outclass one another, they can't overlap with one another, they could be one Pokemon that's a better version of another. And then lastly, they have to be fun to use, which is pretty fun to do, as you will see in just a second, because now I can actually talk about Dunsparce. So what's the timestamp on that? That is 1:50, so about 2 minutes in. All right, cool, we're on good track. So now I can talk about the typing, all right, because I know that this is going to confuse a lot of people. So in this hack, every single type combination is used at least once, not just every single type combination, like technically counting Gen 8 and 9 combos. I mean literally every single type combo that is possible is used at least once in Sweltering Sun. It isn't as bad as you might think. There's a lot of weird combos that actually make a lot of sense on very specific things that you will see eventually. That being said, that was one of the main reasons Dunsparce's typing has been chosen to be Ground and Fairy. So I want to address this because I know a lot of people have their own little headcanons as to what Dunsparce's typing should be. Some people think it should be, some people like the pure normal, some people, and ignoring the people who like pure normal, because if you want a pure normal Dunsparce, this hack is just not going to appeal to you. I'm sorry, it's just not going to. If you're that, like, I don't want to say pedantic, but if you're that like logical about it, nothing wrong with that, but this is just not going to be your cup of tea because there is a lot of really cool and out there changes here. And of course I do have logic and like reasoning to back them all up, but at the end of the day, like, it is a little bit unconventional. It's a ROM hack, at the end of the day. That being said, so just not ignoring people who want it to stay pure normal. There's a lot of people who want, like, for example, some people like normal fairy. Some people have said ground normal. That's actually what I initially had, was ground normal. However, I realized that kind of overlaps with Diggersby, not that badly, but it wouldn't. That wasn't the main reason. I also thought the typing was just kind of boring, and I just think ground fairy is an awesome typing. I mean, it's amazing offensively. And I will explain the logic of it because there is logic besides just the fact that he has little baby angel wings. There's more to it, I promise. I'm sure those of you who are more like in tune with what Dunsparce actually is based on, you might already see where I'm going with this. But yeah, people want normal dragon, people want normal, like, everybody has a different little headcanon of what typing they want Dunsparce. Poison ground, poison normal, like, everybody has their own theory. I think most people would agree that ground should be at least one of the types, and if you disagree, then you're wrong. Ground should definitely be one of the types. If you want a ground normal or ground dragon, whatever, I can respect it. I can respect the opinion, but it should definitely be ground type, that's for sure. Based on the nature of it, it digs in the ground, it burrows itself. I mean, come on, like, it should definitely be ground type. And in a ROM hack, obviously in the real games, it's fine that it's pure normal, I guess. I mean, this one was made like a billion years ago. They don't retcon Pokemon typings without making a new form or a Mega or something. They don't do Megas anymore. So without just making a regional form or some bullshit. Hopefully they gave him an evolution, since I know like they were doing other evolutions for new mons, but this is not relevant. This is about this hack. So that's the typing explained. Also, as for the logic of why I chose Fairy to be the second typing, besides the cool factor and besides the fact that it is an unused type combination, however, I do have one other ground fairy type planned already. So I actually technically could have had him be normal fairy and still have every type combo. So I'm not going to lie to you guys and be like, okay, I only did it because I had to do every combo. That would be a lie, because I actually do have another one that makes a lot of sense as well. So we'll get to that when we get to that, but it's a long ways away. As for the fairy typing, so Dunsparce is based on, I believe it's called the Tsuchinoko Dunsparce origin. Yeah, Tsuchinoko, which is a mythical Japanese snake. A lot of Pokemon that are based on like yokai make sense to be fairy. Not yokai. I'm not saying that Tsuchinoko is a yokai, but you know, like cryptids, that kind of thing. It is a mythological Pokemon, and I think the fairy typing makes sense based on that origin, and given the fact that it does have these little tiny baby angel wings, and it's like super rare, and like it's very hard to find, and it does get like some moves that kind of imply it. Not really. I just think it's a really awesome and cool type for it, and I do think it fits well enough given his weird little vibes and his origin, what he's based on, and the little wings and all that stuff. And of course, the fact that he had Serene Grace. I know Serene Grace is probably just a joke. That's probably the way they gave it to it as a funny little joke, but you know, I think that's more reason to give it Ground Fairy typing. So, Ground Fairy typing is amazing offensively, has some of the best dual stabs in the game. As for how it performs defensively, it has I have them pinned so I can read it. So Dunsparce resists fighting, rock, and dark, so it has 3 resistances, and then it's weak to ice, grass, water, and steel, so it has 4 weaknesses, and then it's immune to electric and dragon, so 2 immunities. So that's very, very solid, very, very, very solid. Very useful resistances. Weaknesses are kind of not terrible, honestly. I mean, it has the same weakness as a pure ground type, and then it has steel in there because of fairy. And then, you know, electric dragon immunities are very, very unique, actually, I believe. Typing wise, that's the only type combo that is immune to both electric and dragon, right? Obviously, there's like, you know, the Dene and stuff that would be also immune to that, but in terms of like just being a type, it has to be ground fairy to be immune to both of those types at once. So that's pretty cool, to be immune to those types at once. So yeah, that's the typing. I hope that explained that. I am going to be doing more thorough timestamps. I might start doing this more, just like if I have a long extended video playing, I can just like check the time and then note it down. So let me actually write this down. 2 minutes for intro, and then what was the other one? Okay, well, actually, we're done talking about the typing now, okay? So 7 minutes, okay. Or 7 minutes for okay, so now I can talk about the abilities. So, and it's the stats, and now I can get into the fun part of the video, okay? I'm done with all the disclaimer bullcrap. So, Dunsparce is the goat, the absolute Chad goat, wonderful boy. We love him. So awesome. So he has the abilities. So for those of you who are familiar with my other videos or my other work or my other changes, you might be scratching your heads. It's like, holy shit, dude, when are the simple mons gonna stop? I don't blame you. It's a coincidence. So Johto has over half of all of the simple Pokemon in the hack. I already have planned out what Pokemon are getting simple, and there is about, I believe the minimum is 11. There's slight variance, but there's 11 to 13 right now. Actually, sorry, 10 to 12 right now that are planned. Most likely 10. And 6 of those are in Johto. The only simple Pokemon in Johto that I wish I could maybe give another ability, but like none of the other abilities work for it, is Jumpluff. And of course, Simple's amazing on it, but I just feel like it's kind of lame because Sunflora has like kind of similar, but Sunflora has its own unique things, so I'm not too upset about it. They have like the exact same bulk, and there's nothing I can really do about that, you know. Maybe I'll go back and change Jumpluff one day, but I do like Simple on it. But I don't think it fits as well as the other ones, because all the other ones are like stupid fuckers. So right now it's like Quagsire, Dunsparce. Furra isn't stupid, but there's no other ability that works for him. There's a bunch of pure normal types. I had to do a whole balancing sheet to like figure out what the fuck to do with those guys, so that's not changing. And I think it's really cool anyways. And it fits pretty well. And then there is Shuck. Oh, I spoiled it. No, I spoiled it. Pain. It's okay. I'm not going to re-record it. It's fine. We're like, what, 5 months away from Shuckle anyways. Yeah, literally like 5 months is Gligar, Gramble, Quillfish, and then Shuckle. So it's fine. Okay, you're getting a little bit of a peek ahead. Okay, and that fits Shuckle very well, obviously. And then there's a couple more mons in Johto, like Sunflora, and I think it might be it. I don't know. There's 6 of them, right? There's 6 in Johto if you count Jumpluff. So, and there's only 10 in the whole hack. So over half of them are concentrated in Johto because it's fucking Johto. Like, just all of the designs are just, a lot of them are just kind of throwaway designs, or designs that's like are just kind of stupid Pokemon. And I like them. They're cute and they're charming. Like, I don't dislike any of these Pokemon. I like them a lot, actually. It's just the fact of the matter is Simple happens to just fit a lot of Johto Pokemon. So, and there's also a lot of shitmons in Johto that have like nothing else going for them. And like, even there's like the stats logically can't be that high. So I kind of have no choice but to give them Simple to make them good, like in Sunflora's case. So yeah, I hope that explains the logic of Simple. I mean, Simple definitely fits logically. I mean, he's a dumb his name literally says Dunce in it. Like it fits extremely well. And then the other ability is Serene Grace. Both of these abilities are very useful. I will be talking about the uses of them, but if I want to sum it up quickly before I can get into the detail stuff, Serene Grace is great for flinch hacks as always, and it's even better now with flinch hacks. And then it's great for status hacking as well. And then Simple is amazing for boosting options. So I'm going to do a little timestamp now just to say like ability logic. This will be like the ability logic timestamp. 1024. Okay. So 1030 for ability logic. Cool. And then next up is the nitty gritty. And also, actually, no, I'll talk about stats first. Then I can talk about the nitty gritty moves and the way those interact. That'll be like the strategic part of the video. So if you're interested in that, you can always just skip to that timestamp if these stats look normal to you, or you can just feel free to listen. So HP is based more on size in this hack. So Dunsparce is a pretty big little fat snake guy. He is 5 foot long, but at the end of the day, he's not that big. So I dropped it to base 80, and I increased both of his defenses by by 40 points. I think that fits given his like ground, like he's like a ground. He almost looks like a grub, like he's like this, you know, bulky fat snake thing. And so I think giving him really good bulk fits. And then his he has 90 base attack because he has this big drill tail. And he is pretty large, and then 85 base special attack because he is mythological creature. You know, he's a Tsuchinoko. I know that in the real games he does get a lot of special moves, and they even gave him Calm Mind and shit. So like I think they are kind of nodding to the mythological inspiration there. So you know, I just took that and ran with it. You know, he had Wish. He already had the moves like, I mean, I'm sure Wish is probably just a joke that he wishes he could be better. Same with the reason it got Spite is because like he's spiteful that he is bad or something. I don't know. But obviously, Spite is now a spiteful spell and disables fairy moves, but or for 5 turns. But that is for another video. I will eventually cover moves. If you aren't able to just go to the description and check out the sheet and look at them all yourself, because they're very easy to navigate. There is a table of contents, and you can just look at by category. So back to changes. Yeah, stat-wise, he has 90 attack for the drill, 85 special attack. I also increased both of those by 20, and that's really all that is for stat changes. He's just very, very bulky, very tanky, and pretty strong. He's not that strong until you consider the fact that he has Simple with setup. So, perfect transition. Now I can talk about Simple first. So, I'll be dividing this last part of the video into 2 parts. Simple moves and options, and then Serene Grace moves and options, and then the last part can just be covering all this other stuff and like a conclusion type deal. So, 1230. Is that's okay. Oh, actually, this is sorry. I have to just so I don't forget 2 to 7, 7 to 10:30, and then 10:30 to I'll say probably 13 minutes at this point now because I've been talking for like 30 seconds. Okay. It is a bit hectic for me to do mid-video, but I'd rather have it this way. I think it will make it easier for people to navigate my videos if they don't want to listen to the whole thing. So now we can talk about Simple. So Simple is incredible. Tons of new moves that he has access to with Simple. So I'm just going to go in order, all right? I could talk about the most impressive or overpowered ones first, but I'm going to be doing it in a different way. So I'm going to be going in order. So you start off with Defense Curl, that gives you +2 defense, all right? You have Ancient Power at level 20, which works good with both your abilities. With Simple, that has a 15% chance to boost all your stats by 2. With Serene Grace, that has a 30% chance to boost all your stats by 1. So it works good with both your abilities. You also have access to Ominous Wind and Water Pulse. All 3 of those moves are the same. 60 base power, 50% chance to boost all your stats by 1. So Ominous Wind and Water Pulse being reteachable, which is nice. Then you have access to it's the next simple move. Hold back at level 35. I'm going to go over TMs and tutors after, by the way. I'm going to be doing level up first. So hold back gives you hold back is from, well, hold back is actually the same name. So that will never knock out the opponent, which might sound like a bad thing, but what it does is it gives you it has 5 PP and it gives you a +1 attack and accuracy boost each time you click it. In Dunsparce's case, if it's running Simple, which it should be with hold back, you're getting +2 attack and +2 accuracy. And again, keep in mind you have infinite usability capsules, so you can easily swap between your abilities depending on what set you're running. So, you know, oh, for this boss fight, I want to paraflinch them to death. Okay, run Serene Grace. For this boss fight, fight, I want my Dunsparce to set up. Okay, simple. For this boss fight, I want my Dunsparce to burn something. Okay, Serene Grace. So that's really the thought process there. You can always switch between them very freely. It's very nice. You also have access to infinite EV training items, so you can always change your EV spread. So if you want them to be specially defensive for one fight, you run that. You want them to be physically offensive, you run that. You can always reset those EVs with the single use of an item. These items are free and will be available from the beginning of the hack, so that's really good quality of life stuff right there. And that makes your Pokemon very versatile. So back on topic, simple moves. So hold back is very useful because, so with simple, you're getting +2 attack, +2 accuracy, right? Which is pretty strong. I mean, that's like a free Swords Dance boost essentially from clicking the move. And it's stab. It's 45 base power and it's stab, but it will never knock out the opponent. So you can actually use that to your advantage. So if you use stuff like, well, I actually didn't have room to give him Charm, but other Pokemon might have Charm. Well, tons of other mons have Charm, actually. I could give him Charm over Skull Bash, but I like funny, simple Skull Bash is funny, so it's fine, right? Charm doesn't really fit him that well anyways, it's only because he's fairy. So yeah, it's fine. So what you can do is you can debuff the opponent with your other teammates and then switch into your Dunsparce, and then you can click hold back 5 times. Actually, sorry, only 3 times, and you will be at +6 attack. And the reason that's better is because Dunsparce doesn't get power up punch. But if it, for example, Charge Beam, if you want to boost your special attack with a move, obviously Charge Beam is still great. You get +2 special attack with simple, but that has the downside of eventually after probably 2 uses, it'll start killing things, because you're strong. You're +4 special attack after 2 uses. You'll start to knock things out, and that's not what you want. If you want to boost up. So because then another Pokemon will come in, and if you took all the time to debuff the opponent, now your next teammate is switching in. Sorry, their next Pokemon is switching in, and their boosts are gone. Or sorry, the stat drops are gone. So holdback can actually get to +6 attack in 3 turns, and then you can finish them off with a Fairy Blow. Fairy Blow being physical Fairy type priority. Dunsparce also has access to Mudshot and Pixie Dust, which are special priority moves. So Mudshot and Pixie Dust are 45 base power, ground and Fairy type moves, and then Fairy Blow is 50 base power and is also a priority move. Fairy Blow is great for physical sets, and obviously the other 2 are great for special sets. So then, simple-wise, you have access to Stockpile and also buffed Swallow and a new move called Spew Out, which is just essentially works like Acid Spray, but it can become much more powerful depending on how many stockpiles you have up. So that does -4 special defense, and it ranges from 100 to 300 base power. Kind of a niche thing for Dunsparce, but it's there because it's for flavor. But Stockpile and Swallow are incredible. So Stockpile with Simple will give you, 2 +2 to both your defenses. I know this is all seeming very repetitive. Repetitive, because I just covered Quagsire, and again, I'm not gonna lie, guys, like 6 Johto mons have Simple. It is what it is, and I'm pretty sure like over half of them have Stockpile. So it's not like this is unique, but it's still an amazing tool nonetheless. I mean, seriously, +2 both your defenses in 1 turn. You can then set up your other stuff, so you can use stuff like Swords Dance while you have that bulk. You can get up. Well, you can only use Swords Dance 1 time in this game, so you'll have +4 attack, and then you can, do whatever stuff you need to do, and then eventually, once you're low HP, you can actually click Swallow. Swallow has priority now, and I buffed it, so that way, even with only 1 stockpile setup, you heal all of your HP. So you can essentially stockpile once, get +2 to both your defensive with Simple, click Swords Dance, click whatever else moves you need to use, Thunder Wave, whatever else you want to do, and then you can click Swallow when you're low HP and heal up to full, which is a really good thing to do. You also have access to Wish and Roost for recovery if you don't want to go that route. Wish and Roost being a reliable TM, you can always reteach that, and Wish being a niche little option just because, for flavor, and it is situationally more useful than Roost, of course, because you can pass it to your teammates and stuff if you want to do that. So that's really awesome. Also, Glare is buffed, but I'm going to talk about that in the Serene Grace section because that's more relevant for Serene Grace sets. So, because they have the flinch hacks bullshit, para-flinch bullshit. Yeah, that's Stockpile. Next simple move is Skull Bash at level 39. Skull Bash, for those of you who are familiar with my work, you already know what I did to Skull Bash. It's an amazing move now. So Skull Bash essentially gives you a free coil boost when you use it. So it's also great on Hustle Pokemon because it can't miss and it gives you an accuracy boost, but obviously Dunsparce is not Hustle, nor is he Normal type anymore. So Skull Bash is not the greatest. It is outclassed by Coil. However, it is nice because it's earlier than Coil. So you get it 6 levels earlier, so you can run Skull Bash with Power Herb or without Power Herb, honestly. Because you're pretty tanky, you can actually just sit there and get that +2 defense in the first turn, and on the second turn you'll get a +1 attack. Sorry, +2 attack and +2 accuracy. With simple, you also get +2 defense on the first turn. If I didn't say that before, I don't know if I misspoke. So that's awesome, all right? Level 43, you get Amnesia. With simple, that gives you +4 special defense. That's incredible. And then level 45, you get Coil, which synergizes very nicely with Amnesia because it patches up the special defense stat. So you can use Coil and Amnesia at the same time if you want, or you can just use one or the other. Coil is amazing for stuff like you can run that on Fairy Blow sets with the priority move. Become extremely tanky. You can run like max HP, max special defense with simple Coil, and Coil has 3 PP, so you can get easily +6 defense and attack with simple, which is really awesome. So yeah, that's awesome with Coil. The accuracy boost isn't the most important. He doesn't have that many inaccurate physical moves at all. His only inaccurate physical moves are like Stone Edge, Iron Tail, and then Gunk Shot. Those are all 90% accurate, and then like Zen Headbutt and Aqua Tail are 95. So you can Coil isn't useless there for the accuracy, but you're mostly using it for the attack and defense. So that's awesome. And then you don't get anything by level up until level 65. And at level 65, you get the funny broken moves. It's really fucking fun. You get Enchantment at level 65, which I felt fit because they already learned Wish normally in the normal games, and they are Fairy type now, so I think it fits. Enchantment is kind of almost like a stronger Wish in terms of the fact that it takes 2 turns. That comes from Geomancy if you're not familiar with my work. And it is nerfed. It's a nerfed Geomancy, so it only gives you +1 speed. But in Dunsparce's case, he gets +2 speed, and then he gets +4 special attack and special defense. And at 45 base speed, +2 speed is pretty fast. If you're running a neutral nature and you're at +2 speed, you're hitting and max investment, of course. You have to invest to be fast with this. You're at 378 speed, which will outspeed base 120 and above Pokemon, or like 125-ish if I had to guess. Let me actually do the math. Jolly 125. Come on. 378, right, is what I was hitting. Yeah, so you don't outspeed base 125, but you do outspeed base 120. I know that much. Base 120 is a 373 speed, I believe. So you outspeed like base 122-ish, which is really awesome after 1 enchantment boost. And if you have a plus speed nature, you're outspeeding like everything, which is awesome. But of course, that's only if you got lucky enough to get that plus speed nature, which is also good for Serene Gray sets, but I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, Enchantment gives you an immense boost. So you run Power Herb Enchantment, you get +2 speed, +2 to both your special, +4 to both your special attack and special defense. So you could run like max defense, max speed on that set, and you become very tanky, and you will just not die. And you can also use that with like other setup moves if you want to double up. And another thing is you get stored power. So Dunsparce actually does get stored power via TM and Gen 8, which is why I felt like that was fine to put here as a level up. He also gets dual wing beat in Gen 8 if you're wondering, but I'll get to that in the Serene Gray stuff. God, stored power is so strong. So stored power only has 3 PP as a balancing measure because of how overpowered it is. So stored power gives you a +1 special attack boost each time you use it. So it's just a super awesome move because you can use it to boost your special attack. And after 1 enchantment, you are at +1 speed oh my gosh, with simple you're at +2. Oh my god, dude, simple stored power is so powerful. So you are at, let me do the math. You have 2 to your speed and then 4 twice. So that's 10 stat boosts. Jesus Lord. Yeah, 10 stat boosts after 1 enchantment with Power Herb. Of course, that is vulnerable to taunt, which is kind of a downside, but of course you can always counteract that with other strategies. God, it's so strong. So you have 10 stat boosts. So after one Power Herb enchantment, you will be your stored power will be 10 times. You're at 220 base power stored power. All right. And you can use that 3 times, so you can kill half a Pokemon's team, half a trainer's team with that. And you'll become even stronger. After each stored power, you get another +20 base power, and you get another +1 special attack. Meaning after 2 stored powers, you're at so you use Enchantment, right? Enchantment gives you +4 special attack, +4 speed dev. You click that with simple, of course. You click that once, you click stored power 1 time, you're at +6 special attack. And your stored power is at 240 base power. And then it caps at 240 base power, assuming you don't set up with any other stuff, which is plenty. 240 is immensely strong, obviously. So that's an awesome strategy. That's obviously pretty late game at the level 65, which will be around the time you get to like Mina's Trial. So you only have that for like the last few main game boss fights. You know, Mina's Trial, which is like a bunch of boss fights, Mount Lanakila, Gladion, Hapu, and then of course the Pokemon League, and then all of the post-game stuff, which will be pretty extensive. So it's great, all right? It's amazing. If you can get that off, it's devastating. Super awesome and fun. it's a little bit strong as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, but it's Dunsparce, man. Let my man be good, you know. So lastly, with simple, you have agility for early game stuff. Also, just if you want that in general. Again, charge beam is cool with with that. You also have moves that have a chance to boost your stats, which I'll talk about with Serene Grace. But when I talk about that, keep in mind that they also will have that same effect with simple, just half the chance and double the effect. So I like the synergy there with their abilities. Agility with simple. What else? I think I'm almost done here with the simple stuff. Calm Mind and Swords Dance. Yeah, so Swords Dance, I feel like it's kind of weird, but it fits well enough given his little drill tail. I think weirder Pokemon get Swords Dance. I mean, for God's sakes, Jumpluff and Sunflora get Swords Dance naturally, and Oddish. I mean, if they can get Swords Dance, I don't see why a snake with a drill for a tail can't get it. And then you have access to Calm Mind, which will give you +2 special attack and +2 special defense with simple, which is an amazing tool, of course. And that's pretty early on in the mid 40s. So you can use that or coil depending on your nature or your specific set that you're running or whatever moves you happen to have taught or whatever TMs you want to use on it. And of course, you can always switch between these sets at will. So that's awesome. I think that's it for simple. So now I'm gonna last thing, Dragon Dance. Yeah, so they did get Dragon Rush by level up in the old games. So I figured that's enough logic to give a Dragon Dance then, you know. That gave me the go-to. All right, Dragon Dance, sure, who cares? It's Dunsparce, man. So yeah, Dragon Dance was simple, +2 attack, +2 special defense. Sorry, +2 speed, rather. And I already covered how fast it is at +2 speed. So you're hitting 378 speed. And if you're a plus speed nature, you're hitting freaking 414, which is really fast. And again, +2 attack is very powerful. So that's awesome. And you can use that up to 2 times. Dragon Dance has 2 PP, so you can get +4. That's great. Simple is an amazing ability. I don't need to explain anymore, all right? I think I covered everything with that. So timestamp 26 minutes mark. Okay, so 13 to 26, 30, simple. All right, last part. So now we're at 26. Oh, shit. Oopsies. 26, 30. All right. Serene Grace. Okay, Serene Grace is a lot more self-explanatory what it does, but it does have a lot of new moves to abuse with. So first things first, Glare is buffed. Glare and Nuzzle are both the same move in the sense that they will they're no longer, Nuzzle is no longer an attacking move. Glare and Nuzzle both drop the offensive stats of the opponent by 1, like Cheerful Look, and they paralyze at the same time. So that is a great tool to have. And with Serene Grace, that can be extremely useful. You make them weaker and you make them much slower, and they have that 25% chance to not move each turn, which again, confounding with the flinch chances can be extremely infuriating, as I'm sure many of you are familiar with like Togekiss and stuff. This does take a little bit of setup, so it's not as, you know, so does simple, honestly, though. So it's pretty fair. And it is luck based at the end of the day. You know, you could get no flinches, you could get every flinch. It's really up to chance. However, the odds are very much in your favor. The main downside here actually is the fact that 45 base speed, even when the opponent is paralyzed, isn't that fast. If you're not running speed investment, which is why you might want to run speed on your Serene Grace sets, at least enough speed to speed creep things, because otherwise you're not going to outspeed them because of your slow speed stat, unless you're using like DD or agility or something, which kind of seems like a waste of, I mean, at that point you'd rather just run that instead of Thunder Wave. You know, you need your move slots, so you don't really have room for a Glare. And I mean, you technically do if you really just want to run flinch moves and only do that, but that seems pretty scummy and lazy. Hey man, you know, more power to you if you want to play that way. It is fun. So yeah, Glare is there, and then of course, so Hoodwink is your main stab flinch move. So instead of having Headbutt, they have Hoodwink. Hoodwink is 80 base power and has a 30% chance to flinch. It's the same as Iron Head, but it is fairy type, and of course they do get Iron Head now, so that is a nice coverage option for flinch sets. Other flinching moves, so they have Air Slash for special sets, which has the same flinch rate. Dual Wing Beat has a 15% chance to flinch per hit, which will become a 27% chance to flinch overall, which when doubled becomes a 54% chance overall. So you have a slightly less chance than Air Slash and Hoodwink and stuff, but it's still over a 50% chance to flinch, which is very strong. And of course, it hits twice as well, so that could be considered an advantage. So yeah, that's great with Serene Grace and para-flinching stuff. You also have access, and you can always use the setup moves on the Serene Grace sets too if you want to do that as well. You can use Coil on those sets. It just isn't doubled. You have Yawn for sleep stuff, which is good utility. Wish, I already covered why that's solid. Ancient Power, I already covered that. I already covered Stockpile and stuff. Skull Bash, okay. Moonblast is nice with Serene Grace. Moonblast has a 60% chance to drop special attack with Serene Grace, which is nice. That's 100 base power, 95% accuracy. Similarly, you have Dazzling Gleam, which is 80 base power, 100% accuracy, and is a TM, so you can teach that whenever you want. And it has a 25% chance to boost special attack. So with Serene Grace, that's a 50% chance, which is very good. What else? That's it by level up. That has Serene Grace FX, and then by TM and Tutor, you have Ominous Wind, which I already covered at the beginning. Water Pulse as well. Signal Beam has the same effect as Dazzling Gleam, so that's a 50% chance to boost your special attack. Poison Jab has a very high poison rate with Serene Grace. Gunk Shot always poisons with Serene Grace. Earth Power and Psychic and Aura Sphere and all these other Shadow Ball, all those moves have a high special defense drop rate. Thunderbolt has a 20% para rate. Thunder has a 60% para rate. So does Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse is 100 base power and has a 30% chance to paralyze and has no downsides. It's just a strong move, which is great for if you want. So you know how Dunsparce used to make like Jirachi, for example, used to run like Serene Grace, Body Slam stuff. You can do that with Dragon Pulse or Thunder if you desire. Hurricane also has the same flinch rate as Air Slash now. 120 base power, 85% accuracy for both those moves. For Thunder and Hurricane, obviously. You do have amazing coverage on both physical and special sides. Your special coverage is slightly better, but your special attack is slightly lower, so it evens out. Play Rough with Serene Grace has a 100% chance to drop the opponent's attack by 1, which is really awesome. Zen Headbutt and Aqua Tail have flinch rates as well. Rock Slide, all of those have 60% flinch rates with Serene Grace. Iron Tail has a 100% chance to drop the opponent's defense with Serene Grace. What else is there? I think I'm almost done. Oh, Simple and Steel Wing is a cool combo. Simple Steel Wing, because Steel Wing will give you a 100% chance. Steel Wing is 60 base power and has a 100% chance to boost your defense stat by 1. So with Simple, that gives you +2 defense, which is cool for like mid game, early game stuff before you get the really good Simple moves. That's cool. Also keep in mind, Simple is a double-edged sword, because if the opponent is using a stat dropping move, you will get minus double stats there. So like Battle Cry minuses both your offenses by 4, Intimidate does -2 attack, that kind of thing. So that's something to keep in mind always. Also for these weird moves, I think it fits fine. He's fucking Dunsparce. He already learned like Flamethrower and other bullshit, so why not just give him Psychic and Aura Sphere? He is a fairy type now, so it fits fine in my opinion. And he's mythical, mythological creature. I think it fits fine. Rock Climb also has the same flinch rate as Rock Slide. Wild Charge has a 40% chance to paralyze with Serene Grace. I think that's almost everything. Fire Blast has a 50% chance to burn with Serene Grace. I forget if it's 25. I changed those around about because I actually had it at 30% at one point and I realized that was idiotic. Okay, yeah, 20%. That's a lot more reasonable. So Fire Blast has a 40% burn rate. But the most impressive burn move you have is Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands has a 60% chance to burn and it's stab. So it's 75 base power and it has a very high burn rate. It's like Stab, Scald on other Pokemon with Serene Grace. It's very good. Very, very good option right there for burning stuff. Very reliable. Not reliable, but like, reliable enough given the nature of Serene Grace. The only truly reliable ones are the ones that are 50% that double to 100. So Takedown has a high defense drop rate, little things like that. I'm not going to cover every single one because the defense dropping ones don't really matter too much unless it's guaranteed, in my opinion. That's more of just like oh, that's cool, but it's not consistent. Most important is the flinches, which again, I'm going to list them all again. Your flinch moves are Hoodwink, Air Slash, Dual Wing Beat, Iron Head, excuse me, Rock Slide, Rock Climb, Hurricane, Zen Headbutt, and Aqua Tail. Those are your flinch moves, all right? So you have plenty of coverage there, and you have your stab. You don't have any ground stab that flinches, which is just the way it is. But you do have Fairy Stab that flinches, and also Play Rough is good with Serene Grace as well. All your Fairy moves are good with Serene Grace, really. Your special sets are good too. Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast are good with Serene Grace. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's it for this video. Honestly, I covered all the coverage moves, all the weird little things. What timestamp is this? Okay, so 30:33. Oh, it's 26:30 to the end, actually. That is, yeah. So that's Serene Grace. Thank you so much, everybody. I really hope this was entertaining. I hope this was informative. I hope that you can live with, for those of you who were disappointed by the typing, for those of you who think the typing is dumb, for those of you who, have their own little headcanons about what the type it should be. I'm sorry if it disappointed you, but this is the best choice for balancing. This is the best choice for uniqueness, and this is the coolest choice in my opinion. So that is the choice I went with, and that's what it is. super bulky, super awesome, super fucking fun. I mean, Dunsparce is just the GOAT now. We love to see it. I really do think that's about it. So at risk of talking for too long, I'm going to end the video off here. So if you liked this kind of thing and you're new here, subbing would be really helpful for me. Also leaving a comment and liking the video and all my other videos if you watch those too, which, you know, feel free to go check those out. I have playlists, and I will be making a playlist based on like other stuff later. It would be helpful because it would help boost the algorithm, helps more people see my stuff, and that's really all I ask for. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. If you enjoyed, obviously, if you're like, this is a bad video, bad changes, too many changes, everything's too much, you know, if this isn't your cup of tea, then feel free to leave a dislike, but that's your opinion. I keep saying a lot. I know I do that a lot. Pretty sure I covered everything, so yeah, I just want to be thorough because this is an important Pokemon, you know, in terms of like people expecting good changes for it. So yeah, I really do hope that you enjoyed. If you liked it, thank you. Please let me know in the comments, and I will be coming back for more later. So I will see you guys then. Bye.